Welcome back to Botany Manor. We are finishing the game up today. Not too many flowers left. Let's see. We last left off with a little note from Elizabeth telling us that she changed the library code and that it is her name, her initials, that will open the lock up. So we can head on back. The manor is so gorgeous. I do love the stained glass so much. It's so pretty. So, that family tree that we looked at last time is actually useful. So we have Elizabeth Ann Green, but that is her maiden name. She's been married, so Elizabeth Ann Hopgood is what we need in order to open the door upstairs. It's a cute little bird painting. I feel like the paintings duplicate. I feel like I've seen some of those twice already. So we have E, A, H. And it opens. Yay, we are in the library hall now. Study is locked. We have a thank you card. I keep turning those the wrong way. Dear Lady Green, thank you kindly for the flower books you sent for my daughters. To this day, they still show an interest in learning more about plants and painting. I am keen that my daughters have access to good education, so I hope you don't mind me putting it upon you that you might be able to teach them somehow. Your dedication and knowledge seems so rare and inaccessible elsewhere for young girls like mine. I hope you will consider my proposal. Sincerest regards, Olive Campbell. So we have a little bit of information, a little lore, that Arabella's teaching some little girls how to become botanists, and they're loving it. And we're starting chapter 4, Botanical Allies. Ally. Cute little hourglass. Let me start downstairs first. So over here we have little symbols. We have day, night, and then these three little guys. We have books around here. There's the crow that we saw on one of those symbols. The fox and the crow. One evening, a fox was in search of something to eat for dinner. He saw the crow sitting on a tree branch, holding a big piece of tasty cheese in her beak. So the fox came up with a plan. He walked up to the crow and complimented her shiny black feathers. The crow was suspicious of the fox and kept her beak tightly closed on the cheese. The fox kept on charming the crow, describing her as the most majestic of all birds with a big, strong beak. Oh, what a song that beak must make. It must be the song of a queen. Please, beautiful crow, let me hear it. Flattered by the praise, the crow forgot all about her suspicion and also her dinner. So she opened her beak wide to utter her loudest caw, and down fell the cheese straight into the fox's open mouth. So this one takes place during the evening. Let's see. Do we have anything else over here? We have a little book, Wonders of the Night Sky. Not all of them have authors, so I might actually be wrong about the authors maybe being developers, but that would have been cool. Does make me wonder why they chose the books that they did. Just for a little bit of world building, or if there were other intentions. Here we have the golden fish. One bright morning, so this one takes place during morning, a poor fisherman caught a shining golden fish. The fish cried, "Please let me live. I'm not a fish, but a prince, enchanted by a wicked spell." So the fisherman let the fish go free. When the fisherman's wife learned of this, she demanded the fish grant a wish in return for its freedom, a cottage instead of the hovel where they lived. So the fisherman returned to the shore, and the fish granted their wish. But the wife was greedy and demanded riches, a palace, and servants. All the while the ocean became darker and the shore was black with dirt. Finally, the wife wished to be so powerful that she could grant wishes for herself. In return for this greedy request, the fish revoked all of the wishes it had granted. After that, the ocean became blue again, the shore clean, and the fisherman never saw the golden fish ever again. So the fish is at morning, the crow is at night. Then we have another book over here, which is The Hare and the Tortoise. I feel like everybody knows this one. At midday, so midday is the time that this one takes place, a hare and a tortoise took a walk together. The hare moved quickly and noticed the tortoise struggling to keep up. The hare laughed and challenged the tortoise to a race. The tortoise accepted. A course was decided and the race began. The hare immediately leapt out of sight, but then laid down to take a nap, sure that the tortoise would never catch up. The tortoise plodded slowly on, making his way towards the finish line. When the hare awoke from his nap, he opened his eyes just in time to see the tortoise crawling slowly across the finish line. The proud hare had been so sure that he would win and underestimated the tortoise. As the tortoise crossed the finish line, he exclaimed, "Slow and steady wins the race." Is there anything else up here? Just another little book. The Rising Sun. Oh, okay, because these show the other symbols, but they're not open. That's right. So those two are there for a very specific reason, but I do wonder about all of the other books. Little hedgehog! So tiny. So, we have the rising sun, and then the golden fish took place in the morning, the hare and the tortoise midday, and the crow and the fox at evening, and we have the night sky. Also crusty and dusty in here. So we have immediately some seeds. Oh yeah, I forgot to look at our little flowers. This one is the nightfall. I vaguely recall my grandmother Jesus, not dying, studying. I vaguely recall my grandmother studying the nightfall when I was young. We do have some other flowers. This one, technically, mushroom. Judging by the name, I don't believe this to be an edible mushroom. This one's the sapphire gloom. Then we have the cradle fern. The past years, these ferns have drastically declined on the banks, so I feel compelled to research any changes in their environment. And then we have the brook chalice. My friend wrote to me about the brook chalice, which made me want to research them. So here we have some sunsets. That one's the 1st of May, 22nd of May, the 8th of July, the 14th of October, the 29th of April, 25th of June, 12th of September, 8th of August. We're gonna need to come back to these. We also have this. Nightfall progress. I've been trying to encourage the nightfall to bloom for a little while now. I'm determined to prove it's more than just a myth. So far I have deduced that the flower opens at sunset and only during a particular time of year. When exactly that occurs still remains a mystery to me. I shall plant a few more seedlings tomorrow and continue my research. Tasks for this month. Monitor nightfall seedlings. Rose planting list. Collect field samples. Seed collection. So we have some nightfall clues, the sunset paintings, and grandma's research. Study. So it was the grandmother's research. I don't know. Leave me alone. We have the London Record. This was on the 9th of May, which is my brother's birthday. Lindley appointed chair of botany at University College London. After an esteemed early career as assistant secretary to the Horticultural Society and admission as one of the youngest ever fellows to the Linnean Society, John Lindley plans to elevate the science of botany. He spoke thus in his inaugural lecture. It has been very much the fashion of late years in this country to undervalue the importance of the science and to consider it an amusement for ladies rather than an occupation for the serious thoughts of man. Lindley also challenged the Linnean classification system and proposes many changes. So we get more sexism in this game, which is beautiful. Wait, there was a key. Did I take it? Yeah. What was it for? The study. Where is the study? Right over here? Yes. Unlock that. Beautiful. Oh, look at the little plant growing. That's so cute. Which one is this? The Sapphire Gloom. We only need 2 clues for this one. Okay, let's see. We have some eggs here of different birds. Can I zoom in? Yeah. River swan, blue heron, red-billed moorhen, golden mallard, crested owl, kingfisher, speckled sparrow, shoveler duck, quail. And we also have this, a book about tree diseases, or a chapter on tree diseases. We have the red tree pox. If a tree is infected with red tree pox, many small red spots will be visible on the bark. It can usually be cured by adding fertilizer to the soil of the tree. Hypoxylon. Hypoxylon causes black patches to form on the bark of the tree. It is usually a sign that the tree is lacking in hydration and won't stay alive for much longer. We have root parasite. The root parasite is a fungus that forms purple rings on the bark and roots. The parasite leaches the nutrients that the tree retrieves from the oil. Eventually, it causes the tree to dry out and lose all of its leaves. There's currently no known cure. And we have bark rust. Bark rust is a disease that isn't very harmful to the tree. It is usually caused by excess hydration and too much sunlight. So we have a little bit about tree diseases. And then here we have a letter. Arabella, I have some more books from the department that may be of interest for your research. One I recall was a favorite of your father's. If you have any trouble when you visit the college, tell the secretary you are collecting materials for your uncle. So long as they are returned before summer ends, the other professors won't notice. Best of luck with your research, Uncle Theodore. So she even needs to use the men in her family in order to get the resources that she needs in order to learn about botany, which sucks. But then we have mushroom food sources. Just like plants, fungi need food sources to grow strong and healthy. However, some fungi haven't always had access to nutrients through soil and have evolved to retrieve it in different ways. This means they have become carnivorous because they only acquire the nutrients they need by consuming other living organisms, such as flies, bugs, and plants. Some mushrooms even get their nutrients from feeding on another type of fungus or parasite. Mushrooms growing on a tree is usually a sign that they are consuming the tree, so you should remove them immediately, but that is underlined with a little note that says not always the case. So we have our 2 clues. Tree diseases, and a mushroom book. So the Sapphire Gloom will require a parasite to eat. There's a note here. My dear friend, I've been pondering these last weeks what could be the best way to see your remarkable flora reach the wider world, since it is so seldom we are able to see our work published. Considering your uncle's reputation in the scientific field, have you considered asking him to publish your herbarium under his name? It may not give you the recognition you deserve personally, but it would be a way to reach your goal of adding to the scientific record on botany. Do consider it. I would hate for such important research to stay hidden away. With warmest regards, Anne. So we have a little recommendation. To not put the herbarium out under our own name. But we're not taking it. So let me put a little pot up there first. A little soil, a little Sapphire Gloom, a little water. And this tree here that's been in our way has the parasite right on it. So we can put the Sapphire Gloom down and it will eat the parasites on the trees. which will unblock that doorway. So now we have a new area to discover. And there it is. Sapphire gloom is a widely misunderstood mushroom. It grows commonly on trees and is opposed to popular belief the mushroom consumes its parasites rather than the tree itself. I believe that was our first plant of this episode. So that's so fun. Now we can head over this way to the top floor. Second floor, actually. There's more than this. The second floor of the manor. Here is the cradle fern with eggs in it. So now we know that the cradle fern is associated with bird eggs. Let's head over this way. Let's see. Where do I want to go first? Dear Lady Arabella, I wanted to thank you once again for your invaluable contributions during our recent meadow orchid research expedition. Your keen observations and deep knowledge of orchids was so helpful. Your dedication to the field is an inspiration to us all. I look forward to future collaborations and the continued exploration of the botanical wonders that surround us. I will put in a good word for you with the Botanical Society. Most sincerely, Professor Montague. Then we have the attic key. We have a little information on the Somerset River swimming this season. Dear members, we want to make sure you can all enjoy swimming this summer, so we've cleared the most popular rivers in Somerset of all aquatic weeds. The River Cam, the River Chew, and the River Summer have all been cleared of weeds thanks to the services of Clark's Aquatic Weed Removal Co. Thank you for your continued support. Thanks to your monthly donations, the rivers of Somerset are clean and weed-free. Then we have a note here. Health and safety warning, 8th of August, 1890. It has been brought to our attention that the factory of Barton Iron Works has been illegally dumping scrap metal in rivers across Somerset. These rivers are now polluted with rust, making them unsafe for swimming. Do not swim in the following rivers. We have the River Cam, the River Summer, and River Chew. The River Frome was also affected by the waste, though oddly the river is completely clear of rust pollution. We are still researching what led to that effect. So these rivers you couldn't swim in, but then they cleared it of any weeds. Let's see. Dearest Arabella, I'm writing to share with you an exciting discovery I've made in my botanical studies. It turns out that some plants are particularly sensitive to sound and seem to thrive when exposed to music or melodies from their natural environment. I hope to share more of my findings with you in the near future and would be delighted if you could join me in my research. Your sincere friend, Mary Ann. I do need to find... Here are the rivers of Somerset. So that one without the rust, from length 27 miles, average temperature 25 degrees Celsius. That will come into play. Let me see in here. I know there's a seed here. So we have the cradle fern seed. I keep doing that. Let me add letter about melodies. We'll see why. Let me look at this first. So little bluish white eggs with those little spots. If we take a look at our little bird eggs in here, this is the one, and it's for a crested owl egg. So those are the birds, crested owls are the birds that make homes in cradle ferns, according to that picture. So let's pot the cradle fern. Beautiful. Let's head upstairs. place it where it needs to go. Here we have bird calls. Play it yourself. So these are different bird calls. And here we have the crested owl. Let me make sure. I'm missing one clue. I wonder where. I don't want to do this until I have all of the clues locked in, you know? Let me see what's in here. The Trapped Fairy, a folk tale. Once upon a time, there was a little fairy who loved gazing at her own reflection in the water. She lost track of time, and the day turned into night. Nyx, goddess of the night, noticed the little fairy. The moon was shining bright, but the fairy only had eyes for herself. Nyx took offense and decided to punish the little fairy. Nyx placed the fairy into a nightfall and cast a spell on her. She fell in love with the moon and gazed upon the sky all night. As dawn approached and the sun arose, the spell broke. Though just as the fairy awoke from her enchantment, the flower bud closed and trapped the fairy for eternity. So here we know that that has to do with the nightfall. We have a letter. Dearest friend, it seems our interest in visiting the private plant collection of Lord Spencer has gone unacknowledged. While disappointing, I am not sure it is worth pursuing scientific study in such places. On my recent visit to Brinsby, the young man showing us around had barely a basic knowledge of plants, and due to there being a large group of gentlemen in the party, all useful time and erudition was devoted to them and none given to Constance and I. Let us plan another trip of our own, and perhaps we can see these specimens in their home habitats, where they belong. Ever your faithful friend, Eliza. Here we have essence of arnica flower for sprains, strains, and joint pains. And we have tincture of red clover. Chamomile and red clover seems to soothe hot flushes. I'm not sure where this last clue is. This is for the bath geyser. Provides a rapid flow of hot water. Simply turn the tap and instantly hot water will appear. Can be used multiple times in a row without any extra cost. We have another note here. Wilson Plumbers. 15th of May. That's one day away from my birthday. Dear Arabella, here's our quote to repair the geyser in your bathroom. The cost might seem high, but trust us, it's a complex job best left to the professionals. Have a nice day, Frederick. So there's all of these pieces. Here's the toilet, which you can flush, just in case you were interested. So I don't need these people to fix my toilet. Not my toilet. My bath geyser. Here's the last piece. There it is. I can fix the bath geyser myself. And now that's set up for us. Oh, what is this? Ah. That's right, my dear Nova, never forgotten. I feel like that definitely has to do with a developer. Here we have a petition to be presented to the Honorable House of Commons. In recent years, hunts have been taking place near the Somerset rivers. Tragically, this has led to the decline and even its extinction of some bird species. No longer can we hear their beautiful chime-like calls. We call upon the government to regulate hunting near the rivers of Somerset. We ask that they respect the breeding times of wildlife. If you agree, please sign below and return this letter to us. No expense attends signing. Your signature, and then Arabella Green. So we do get to see the effects that people have on the growth of these plants, because if they didn't hunt the birds, we would still have cradle ferns. I believe that is the last clue. Yep. So that's great. Here we have aquatic weed removal. Do you have a pond? Do you want to swim in it? Is it covered in slimy weeds? We are specialized in removing the following weeds. The brook chalice is one of them. Make an appointment today. So we have the weed removal. So we have discovered that the brook chalice is a weed, and then we have information that they were removing weeds from different rivers. So the brook chalice grows in water, which you can actually kind of see. So we'll need to plant it in water. But based on the little note about rust, we don't actually have the brook chalice yet. Let me actually go upstairs and finish this cradle fern because we locked it in. So, for a crested owl, the notes are E, C, D, E, G, F. E, C, I already forgot. D, E, G, F. And there we have it. Another plant done. The cradle fern is used by the crested owl as a nest, and in turn the plant has grown dependent on the owl's chime-like call to grow. So that is another flower down. We do have the attic key, which we do need to look at. Here is the trapped fairy. So the wings are actually what's going to be the most important. Here we have a letter about weeds. Dearest Arabella, I was taking a walk along a river in Somerset recently and noticed a sight that I just had to write to you about. In the water, I saw the brook chalice blooming. I've never seen or heard of it flowering before. None of my books mention of it. It was so beautiful. Do you have any idea what would have caused this? Ever your friend, Edith. So I believe that's the last clue. So we have all of that. And did she say what river? No, just one of the Somerset rivers. But it is the River Frome. Was it Frome or Form? Frome. Here we have a little information on trapped moths, which has to do with the trapped fairy. Sometimes a moth can become trapped inside a flower bud if it closes in the morning. The moth is then forced to use the flower bud as a resting place until it opens again later. Some flowers only bloom for short periods during the year, so if the moth is unlucky, the flower bud won't open again until many months later. And here we have different moths. So the wings on the fairy are the same wings as the garden tiger moth. And if we look through here, the garden tiger should only be in September. So that's when that moth comes out. So we need a September sunset. Let me quickly take a look again at the library. Here are the paintings. October, April, September. So we need blue, yellow, orange, red for a September sunset. Blue, yellow, orange, red. We can head upstairs. I don't think there's a place to pot in here. Let me. Moth calendar, moth poster, trapped moths. So we still need one more clue. Is this it? the sight of plants. Some scientists have theorized that plants have photoreceptors in their leaves and stems, which allows them to see the color of light. This means that flowers can tell the time of day and know when to open or close their buds. The exact time that flowers bloom is different for each flower, but most do appear to respond to light and the color of light in some way. Horticulturalists and botanists have made use of this knowledge to trick difficult flowers into blooming at any time they like. So that is our last clue. And now I believe all of the clues for this chapter are set in place. Beautiful. So we should have, the seed over here. For the brook chalice, actually. Do I have the nightfall seed? Yes, it was literally the first one that I got for this chapter. The Botanist Digest. This month, in conversation with Professor Montague, leading expert in British meadow orchids. In his words, every plant, every leaf, and every meadow holds secrets waiting to be unlocked. My aim is simply to uncover some of those mysteries. Professor John Montague, renowned botanist, sheds light on his groundbreaking work in the world of meadow orchids and other botanical wonders. With decades of research and numerous publications to his name, Professor Montague's contributions to the field have been nothing short of revolutionary, including discoveries on new species such as the Dactylorhiza Montague, or hood marsh orchid. So he completely took credit for the orchid that we discovered and then tried to play nice with us in a letter, which is great. My dear niece, I fear the window may be closing for you to find a suitable husband. I've arranged a dinner for you to meet my neighbor's son, Edward. He's successful in business in London. Your cousins William and Thomas may well aspire to become accomplished scientists, but for you, Arabella, it is better to make yourself useful in the small duties of life, for which you will be loved and appreciated. Your studious nature will no doubt be valuable should you have a son, but it would be foolish to allow such a folly to come before the important things in life. I am confident that this is what your parents would have wanted. Dinner will be from 5 o'clock on Sunday. Remember to wear a becoming dress. Yours very sincerely, Aunt Agnes. So we're getting a lot of pressure from everyone in our lives. I'm going to take this little rusty pig down, because this is the rust that the brook chalice will eat. I'll do the nightfall first. Right there. We'll water it. Let's bring it back up into the attic. We need blue, yellow, orange, red. Blue, yellow, orange, red. I feel like that makes sense. And if not, we can try again. Blue, yellow, orange, red. That was it. Here we have the nightfall. And it is gorgeous. Seeing the nightfall bloom is a rare event. The flower only blooms with September sunsets. Night pollinators active in September, such as the garden tiger, often get trapped once the bud closes for the rest of the year. That is very sad. We have one flower left to go for this chapter. And we already have everything set. It was 25 degrees Celsius, I think. Let's see. Chalice. We'll water it. Let me, beautiful, get this rusty pig in the bath first. And then we'll go back for the brook chalice. I wish I could actually utilize both of my hands in this game and carry two things at once, but I can't. So I have to go back and forth. Here we have the pot. Okay. We need it to be at 25, and then we can fill the bath. The brook chalice should eat the rust from the pig. So cute. And it clears the rust away. The brook chalice prefers to grow in rivers with a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. The plant naturally filters the water from rust and metal. Unfortunately, they get removed often, as most people prefer their ponds to be weed-free. Very unfortunate. There is another gatehouse delivery for the 5th and final chapter of the game. I think it's also really interesting that the game does teach a little bit about why people might remove certain plants like weeds even though they are helpful to the environment, or how what we do affects different plants in nature. Okay, we have another key to the formal garden. Lady Arabella, I apologize wholeheartedly for accidentally taking the key to the formal garden home with me. It was in my pocket, and I had simply forgotten it was there. I didn't want to disturb your research, so I've left the key in the basket here for you. Jimmy, it was Jimmy. Jimmy's causing problems. Left and right. But we can go back to the formal garden. Through the terrace. Because the door is right there. Okay. And we've entered chapter 5, which is climbing up. And 3 new plants were added, so let's take a look at those. The spring dance shrub. This flowering bush used to grow in the gardens, but have completely disappeared when I was off on my travels. The fool's emerald. A friend gifted me these seeds, so I don't know too much about them yet. And the ocelot. A friend of mine found some seeds and was kind enough to let me use them for my herbarium. These are the last 3 flowers of the game. Here we have a newspaper article. It was a message. Local man reports mystery signal. A gentleman farmer has reported sightings of mysterious blinking lights coming from caves near his home in Cheddar. In his own words, I was walking my dog and lost track of time a little. It soon became dark and I decided to make the walk back home. On the way to my house is a tiny cave, and as I walked by I noticed a blinking light pattern cast from the cave entrance. I was sure it was one of those Morse code messages. When I approached the cave, the light source vanished and nobody was there. I'm convinced that what I saw was the Morse code abbreviation for attention. I will never forget that one abbreviation, as it was the first message I learned in Morse code. Local authorities have assured our journalists that there have been no recent military activity or exercises in the area, so the mystery remains unsolved. That bird noise sounds like the jingle 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 meme. Here we have the spring dance shrub seed. Beautiful. Let's see. We'll first go, our little pond is dried up. We'll first go up this way. See, jingle, 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 jingle. Here we have a card, the cutest greeting card ever, sincerest greetings. Dearest Arabella, I was delighted after our recent mentoring session. You do excellent work as a fellow scholar of the natural world. I recall the spring dance shrub that once grew in your garden before you departed on your travels. How wonderful it would be to see it growing again. I have been compiling plant specimens that require pollination to mature in their adult stage. I wonder if the spring dance shrub is one of these plants? Ever your affectionate friend, Lavinia. And I love that they use the name Lavinia because Lavinia is the name of Emily Dickinson's sister. Emily Dickinson had her own herbarium that became widely popular after her death. If you've been on Tumblr or Twitter, you've seen pictures from the herbarium. At least if you're in sapphic spaces or like cottagecore spaces. But we have the Fool's Emerald seeds now. Here we have the marvel of bioluminescence. In the darker corners of our world, there are plants and organisms that are able to produce their own light. These plants, fungi, and insects are most often found in areas of low light, such as dark forests, deep oceans, and gloomy caves. Recent discoveries show that chemicals such as luciferin are responsible for this glowing effect. It is not known what this glowing effect is used for, but it could be for communication with others of the same species or to attract pollinators or food. Scientists believe that there are many bioluminescent species waiting to be discovered. So that goes back to the cave. Let's see, we have the Fool's Emerald, luciferin. So the Fool's Emerald is a bioluminescent plant, and it was glowing Morse code for attention. And it grew in a little cave where the guy saw it. So we have a lot of information there. Nothing over here. We have our little potting area over here. Is there any... Nope, nothing over here. Let's go over here. Mr. Bennett, the telegraph you ordered arrived while you were at the farmer's market. They delivered it by boat. I left it at the boathouse, since I didn't know where you'd like to keep it. There appears to be a Morse code manual inside the case as well. Jimmy. So that is what we will need in order to grow the Fool's Emerald. My sweet Hazel, are you keeping well today? Jimmy's only gone and broken the lawnmower again. If it weren't for my war injury, I wouldn't be letting him loose with the mower. He said he ran over some hard object down in the long grass near the pond. I had a brief look and couldn't see anything. Sometimes I wonder about that boy's sensibilities. Save me some of your lovely scones? Yours always, Mr. Bennett. These scones are everywhere. Then here we have abbreviations for Morse code. So, attention is KA. Okay. Here we have the flower growing companion. Tips for growing hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are beautiful flowers that contain anthocyanin, which is a pigment that can change color depending on the pH levels of its environment. The colors can vary between red, purple, and blue. A little bit of information about that. Then we have pots and the materials that they're made out of. And there were pots next to them. Let's head over here. So we have a little bird yelling at me for being too close. And here we have different soil pH research with the different materials that the pots can be made out of, and then those little bottles that we saw before. So for the spring dance shrub, it has different colors with their pH levels, but we don't know what color we need yet. There is a little letter over here, I think. Yes. Dear Mr. Bennett, thank you so much for the lovely bunch of rhubarb from your nephew's garden. He needn't have sent anything in return for the herbal poultice I gave him for his little one, but I am grateful all the same. I know he hasn't the money to fetch the doctor. Since he said he cannot read a note, please send him my thanks when you see him. Faithfully yours, Hazel. So cute. They're officially together at this point in the lore. So we have a little bit to look at over here. First off, the boathouse key. Second, attracting birds with color. So the bird that we saw earlier was a robin, and they like red flowers. Just like bees, birds can pollinate flowers. But did you know that birds have a preference to pollinate flowers of certain colors? The above chart shows which color flowers attract which birds to your garden. So we need red flowers. Let me see. It's military codes. Is there anything? No. Let me go back to the spring dance shrub. What was in the greeting card? Information about them being in the garden and pollinators. Information about hydrangeas, pot catalog, soil pH research, pigment research, bird poster. What am I missing? I'm not sure. Oh, I know. Where is it? Right in here. Mix seed for garden birds. Attract a host of garden birds such as bluebirds, finches, robins, and warblers with the seed prepared at the highest quality levels. Simply spread the seeds on an appropriate bird table or feeding surface and observe the delight of your feathered garden neighbors. So that is, nope, the last thing that we were missing. And here we have another little bird feeder. I'm going to leave this somewhere close to where the robin is, but not quite there. I'll put it at this one. So, for a red flower, for a red spring dance shrub, we need a pH level of 12 to 14. And if we look, the only thing that reaches 12 to 14 is a sandstone pot with seaweed in it. So we've got to grab a sandstone pot and we've got to put some seaweed in it. Got to move around, I know, I'm sorry. Sandstone pot. Let's take this one. Let's actually pot with Fool's Emerald right now. That way we have it. And now it's in the way. So that's the spring dance shrub, and as you can see, it's white right now. But once we put the seaweed in, it will hopefully change colors. There we go. It's now a red spring dance shrub. We will put this, I'm sorry. Put this down where it belongs. And then we have to play a tiny little puzzle game trying to get the bird all the way over to the far end of this garden. This structure is so pretty, by the way. I love the ivy growing on it. So that's where we want it. And then I'll grab the second little bird feeder. and bring it closer to our little robin friend. That's just a seat. Okay. I'm gonna take this. We're gonna put it right here. And then we're gonna have to get too close to the robin. Let me maybe put that where that belongs. Look at that. Okay, I have to do this again. It's got a little heart. Gonna move this one here. There we go. I'm gonna move. Let's see if he yells at me. Ooh, okay. Move this one here. Okay. And put this one right here, and if I walk down this path, he will definitely yell at me. So I have to go all the way around. And then I'm gonna have to go all the way back. But I will set it down here first. I'll back up. There he goes. So cute. He's so tiny. Okay. Take this one now. I wonder what other songs have birds in the background, because I know there are others. I just don't remember which ones. If you know any, let me know. This was something that I talked about in the first episode, I think, that I really love songs that have birds chirping in the background, Cherry Wine being one of them. It's just so pretty. And it just establishes the vibes so well. Put that there. Take this one. I can go around here without him getting too angry at me. We can put it right here. Let him fly to it. Take this one. And then put it right here. And watch him fly over. Just, ooh, it's so tiny, right to the spring dance shrub. This is probably my favorite flower of the game. It's so pretty, and look, now there's so many robins. Let's see, the spring dance shrub contains, I said this before, and now I'm struggling. The spring dance shrub contains anthocyanins, causing it to change color depending on the pH level of its environment. Robins love red flowers and will be attracted to the red variant of this shrub. Look at them! So cute. Look, they're everywhere. So tiny. Oh, sorry little guy. I'm gonna, yep, sorry. We have 2 flowers left. The Fool's Emerald is what I'm gonna do first. Look at him. Look at how cute. Oh, he's looking at me. Oh my god. I love him. Okay. So we need First up we need a little... Sorry. First up we need the little object that Jimmy ran over with the lawnmower. Let's see, what's here? My dearest cousin, whilst I hold a deep fascination for the pursuit of knowledge and science, I must admit that the subject of spiritualism is not one that particularly captivates me, therefore I must return this book to you. However, I appreciate your efforts in sharing your interests with me. With affection, Arabella. Phenomena of Spiritualism. The Will-o-wisp. Glowing spirit of marshes, forests, and caves. The will-o-wisp is an eerie apparition that has long been the subject of both fear and fascination. It makes its appearance to lost travelers in dark, isolated places and beckons them to follow with its beguiling, blinking light. Many a wanderer has followed the wisp's alluring light across marshes or into caves, never to be seen again. Take heed, those who venture into dark places, resist the temptation of the will-o-wisp's shimmering radiance. Turn back before it's too late. So that's our last little clue. No, it's not. It's just a little bit about will-o-wisps. But I'm going to set this right where it belongs, in here. And now the pond is filled with water again. And lily pads form, creating a little walkway, which I'm going to take Fool's Emerald into. Right in there. Now I'm going to grab the telegraph from the boathouse. Before I go into the boathouse, I do want to show this little painting. Look at how cute. Look at how nice that is. I want to live in this house so bad. And you can make that happen by liking and subscribing. Here's the boathouse. It's very cute. I didn't notice this the first time I played. I noticed it this last time. Look! Little sheep out there. There's just little tiny sheep. It's so cute. I do know where exactly this thing is. Right here. We're gonna walk all the way back now. Yay! All the way back. So I don't think... No, there's no better way to get back to where we were. Which is really great. Unless there is and I'm foolish. There could have been, actually. I might be foolish. Yeah, pretty. I know there is another gate by the boathouse, but I forget exactly where it leads. But it's too late now. I'm already back where I need to be. So I'm going to place this right there. I'm going to open it up. Now all I need is K, which is a line, a dot, a line, and then A, which is a dot and a line. We can watch this beautiful flower bloom. it goes. Oh, I didn't even put the last clue in. The Fool's Emerald is a vine that contains luciferin, which allows it to create light. They grow in caves where they use the light to communicate with each other, very much like Norse code. Where was that clue? Was it just this? Yeah, it was. Okay. The ocelot is our last flower, and that'll be back at the boathouse. Jingle, 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 jingle. Okay, here we have our last duck. In case you were wondering, this one's actually an Egyptian goose. I'm just gonna come in. There's the seed. I'm just gonna plant it and put it back where it needs to go, which is right there. And then I'll floating E. It's back to haunt me. I'll look at the clues once this is back inside. Oh, it doesn't need to be watered. So we can just put it right there. So, we're going to start with the book over here, How Weeds Spread. Weeds can take over an area quite rapidly. Some weeds have adapted in order to spread their seeds as far away as possible. The plant itself does not have much control over this, but trusts nature to lend a helping hand. Wood avens and goosegrass have seeds with a hook designed to attach to fur of passing animals. They are then carried and dropped up to several miles away. Dandelions have seeds with an attached feathery puff that allows them to simply be carried by the wind to a faraway location. Other plants such as lords and ladies wrap their seeds in an attractive berry which birds consume and then later deposit as waste a great distance away. A final, more mysterious example is the seed of the ocelot. It is known to be picked up by critters who then take it back to their nest. As soon as the animal goes to sleep, the seed sprouts into bloom. It is not quite understood how the plant is able to detect when the creature is asleep. So, we need to look at what's next. We have some cards. Rabbits live in many habitats and burrows underground. They come above ground to graze in the morning and evening. So we're going to look for what has a nest. The gray squirrel. Red squirrel. Red squirrels live in nests high up in the trees. They sometimes forage food back to the nest to keep for later. So that red squirrel is what we need. Game setup. This is just how to play the game that's here, if you're interested. Woodland cards and field cards. So that's where red squirrels live. I don't know if that's too important. We have a book over here. Animal husbandry and rehabilitation for all work with animals domesticated and wild. So we have animal heartbeat rates. So we need a red squirrel, which asleep is 120 beats per minute. So we have these here. Let me inspect them. We need to find one that's 120 beats per minute. That's 100. That's 120. So this is the one that we need. Let's place it in here, but let's quickly put in our 4 clues, which I'm not sure if you need to do. Obviously you don't, because we did the Fool's Emerald without the last clue, but I just like doing it just for fun. And now we can turn this to grow our last plant. so cute. There it is. And the description. The ocelot seed is picked up by small animals such as the red squirrel, who then store it inside their nests. Once the animal falls asleep, the ocelot depends upon the heartbeat vibrations to break open and bloom. And that is our herbarium. So now we get to go a floating E. We get to go back to the gatehouse because we are going to deliver or post our book. My stomach is growling. My stomach's growling. That's not gonna make it in. There's more. Those are all black sheep. How cute. Is there a house out there too? Yes, there are houses out there. That's so adorable. We'll go this way. We'll go back through this room. I've decided I will not be bringing all of the flowers back into this room, but I will show you maybe what it looked like in my first recording. Going to the gatehouse. I think we just post it. So that was the whole puzzle aspect. We do get a little epilogue to the game, which is very cute. I am gonna let the credits run because I do think it is important to see the names of the people who designed the wonderful game that I just played. I love this game so much that I was willing to play it twice. Once for the first time ever, a second time to record it, have the recording fail because I'm silly, and then record it again because I really wanted this to be the first game that I played. I think it's so beautiful. I think it just, what I love in games, puzzles, really pretty flowers, obviously, a little bit of lore. It doesn't always have to be right in your face, but just being able to learn about this person's story and the background of the puzzles was really cute. Yeah, I love learning about flowers. I love Emily Dickinson. I think I was watching Dickinson at the time that I played this show, or just like right after. So I was just in this like herbarium mood for so long, and I kind of designed my like social aesthetic around it, which was very funny because I designed my socials last year. But we do have here 1 year later, and we get to see if our book was published. Very fun. Green School of Botany. Oops. Presented to Lady Arabella Green by the Women's Education Union on the occasion of her opening the Green School of Botany, 12th of April, 1891. So we opened, look, there's a little robin, and there's the different flowers that we grew. Cute. We opened a school. And we have our own little herbariums on the desks. We have a little apple, a little bell. We have information about the windmill wort. We have our students. So cute. Eliza, Jessica, Catherine, Ada, Mary, Thomasina. Adorable. Over here. My dear Flora, I'm terribly sorry your herbarium didn't get picked up for publishing, though I am most excited about your new plans to turn Botany Manor into a botanical academy. I look forward to visiting the school and meeting the talented students you have taken under your wing. Let's hope they carry on our fight. Lots of love, Elizabeth. P.S. Arabella, I hope you don't mind me still calling you by your childhood pet name. So our book did not get picked up. A harsh reality for the time that this game takes place, but we were able to do something so special with the book, teaching young girls about botany to further girls' interest in science, which is so important. And that's the end, and I love that so much. It is sad. It's a little bit of a sad ending. It's bittersweet. But that was Botany Manor. Thank you so much if you watched both episodes. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. It means so much to me. And I am looking forward to creating more content. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Bye.